Hello and welcome to the Student Learning Outcomes in a Nutshell review for adjunct faculty. My name is Arkady Hunjiev. I am the SLO or Student Learning Outcomes Coordinator for West Hills College Coalinga. And this is just going to be a quick guide for adjunct faculty to understand their resources with student learning outcomes as well as how to input scores. So what is student learning outcomes? It is a way for faculty to reflect upon their courses as they teach the students to find out if the students are learning the material or not. And there's a cycle to it. It is a continuous cycle, but really the starting point is to name expectations for learning. That's the first thing. And these are naming your SLOs for the course. Now this has already been done for every single course that is offered at West Hills College Coalinga. And so your expectation is to test it. So the first thing you're going to do is hopefully you have communicated your expectations to students via your syllabus. So hopefully the syllabus contains your student learning outcomes and you have told the students that you are going to assess them this semester. So every 4 semesters or every 2 years at West Hills College, every single course goes through the process of collecting the student work or giving the assessment exam to the students. And so if you have received an email from the Executive Vice President stating that your course is up for review, then you are required to give the assessment using the assessment tool and input the scores into Lumen. So after you give the students the assessment, you then take the time to reflect upon the results of the score or results of the assessment. And after you do that, you strategize. If there's any weaknesses in it, you strategize a plan to change up or tweak the course in order to see if students do better. Another way to view the material is just to sort of see these, or at least have these in your mind as you're going through this SLO process. So first things first is the fact that student learning is the center here. You're trying to gauge whether students are learning in the course that you're teaching, particularly with those skills. And by doing the assessment, you're seeking information on how well the students are learning the material. It takes and allows you quantitative data for you to really reflect on how you're teaching it and what you're teaching to make sure this is in line, and also if the students are grasping the material. It does allow you to take some responsibility for the learning, and at least as far as how you present the material, and the backside to see how students are engaging with the material. And then it takes you to the strategies for student success, in which you try to see how you can improve the score and improve the results for your students. Here at West Hills College, there's 2 different types of adjunct faculty. There are adjunct faculty that are without any full-time instructors in the area. In that case, you do have to create your own assessment tool or exam in the class that tests that particular course student learning outcome. You're going to use that assessment tool to assess the students, and then you're going to input scores into Lumen. There are adjunct faculty that have full-time instructors in the area that they are teaching. In that case, either you have already received the assessment tool or the exam from the full-time faculty member. If not, please contact them and they will be willing and ready to share the exam with you in order for you to once again assess the students, give the exam to them, and input those scores into Lumen. So the executive vice president of the college emailed all adjunct faculty with this Excel spreadsheet. This is just the top portion of the Excel spreadsheet, but I wanted you to understand where this is coming from. So adjunct faculty, your names are listed here if you're teaching a course that is up for assessment this semester. And notice for AOJ1, as an example, there are 4 adjunct faculty teaching AOJ1. And as you look to this column here, you notice there is a full-time faculty member that's also teaching the course. So you can take the time to contact this person, and they'll be willing to share their assessment with you in order for you to give that assessment to the students. If you look down here, this adjunct faculty member does not have a full-time faculty member teaching the same course. In that case, they're going to go and contact this person here. This is the responsible person designated by the college to help you and support you in this process. So notice this person is also a full-time faculty member that teaches other art classes, so Art 16A, but they will be willing to help you out with Art 13A, B, and C. So refer to this person in order to support you in the assessment process. There are others where they do not have a full-time faculty member, nor do they even have a full-time faculty member that teaches in the area. In that case, the responsible person falls to the Student Learning Outcomes Committee representative to help them through the process. So please contact this person in order to give you any support during this process. How do you find out how to contact this person? You would go to the West Hills College Coalinga homepage. Go to About and go to the Faculty and Staff Directory. So for the full-time faculty member on the list, for Bart, off the previous list here, here's the full-time faculty member that teaches in the area, and there is the email address for that full-time faculty member. Take that email address, copy it over to your Outlook, and contact the person responsible in supporting you through the process, which corresponds to this person here. The other resources that I want to show to you is Illumin, the website or the software that we use as a curriculum as well as the outcomes repository and results system. And then I want to share information about the representatives here. So to take a look at Illumin, you are going to go to the West Hills College Coalinga webpage, in which you will log in into the portal. After logging into the portal, you'll go on the right hand side of the page and down until you come to what says Illumin WHC Coalinga and click on the link there. And you're going to put in your first and last name, which is the beginning of your email address. Do not put the @whccd.edu, just your first and last name, all lowercase, all one word. And you're going to put in your password that you normally use to log into your email. Since I am a full-time faculty member, this screen comes up. What you would have to do initially is just to make sure that you're listed as faculty, you are in the area that you will be putting in the assessment results for, and you are in the right semester. Now the default is to always be the semester ahead where you are, so you do have to go back one semester to be in the same semester that you're completing your assessments for. and you are going to scroll down. I teach Math 15, but I don't have any assessments that are due. I'm also a Math 61 instructor, and yes, I see the assessments that are due. And in fact, I see how many students I have to do assessments for. I have completed 0 out of 47 assessments of students. As I scroll down further, I see there are no more assessments that I need to do. So let's go ahead and go into the assessments. You have two choices here. One, you could do something called the scorecard view or the roster view. Let me show you the difference between the two. My preference is the scorecard view. As you click on the button, the scorecard view gives you a list of the student learning outcome, that is here, as well as the grade. Now these grades are listed as technically a 5 is an A, a B, a C, because it still meets expectations, a D, and a F. The NA is for not applicable. The student did not show up for the exam. And so what you would do is, for this particular student, you put their score that they have received. And let me go back to my grades for this particular assessment and to see what each of these people just take me a second to fill in the scores. Alright, once you are through filling in the scores, Brother Ross, you can go on to the next screen. Another way I want to show you filling in the scores is, this is called the scorecard view. There's also the rubric view. Now what the rubric view allows you to do is to put in assessments one at a time per student, and allows you an additional commentary if you want to include the commentary from the student. Alright. I prefer the scorecard view because it's a lot easier to put in the scores right away of the students. I had no one absent during this particular exam, so there was no need to put an NA score at any one time for this. If you have any students absence, yes, you would click the little button for the NA score. Then you go on to save and continue to reflection template. That's the one you want to choose. Do not choose save, since at West Hills College we do have a reflection template to put in. So as you have reflected upon the scores that you've entered, there's fields for 3 inputs. There are questions. One is about the assessment tool itself. So was the assessment tool aligned? So the test that you actually gave, was it aligned with the outcome? Was this a satisfactory way of assessing this activity? Should you change that? Should this be a multiple choice exam? Should this be an essay instead? That's the question you're asking yourself here. And do you think the data is valid and accurate based upon the methods that you've made? Is there a way that you want to change the method that you have done? And so in this case you answer. And the method here was that Alright, now we're going to focus on the results themselves. So are there any surprising or unexpected things that happen in the data? Were there areas where student performance was outstanding? Initially did they start doing good and then they were not doing so good? What happened there? So what's the results? What's the results look like? So what needs or issues were revealed? Is there any kind of weakness that needs to be addressed? And how will you address the needs and issues that are revealed by your assignment? So in this case, alright, here's what I have. So as I look back on this material here, I say this was a good way of assessing the material. I can even talk about what I did. I had students fill out a multiple choice test, but then I also had them show all the work on another sheet of paper so that I can keep track of what the students actually did. And so that's for my exam. Then the results is that I got all the students, they got the easy ones correct. That was great. They stumbled a lot more the complicated ones. And also with the ones with fractions. So I'm thinking maybe it's a good idea to use a lot more fraction problems in my course, because they see a lot more fractions on the test, and as reflected on the test and as reflected upon my course, I notice I don't do a lot of examples in the classroom with fractions, but then I expect them to be able to do fractions very competently in the classroom here. And so what are my steps for improvement, or what can the department do? So here's a few things here. This is kind of a two-part question. So this is going to then we lead to the culminating question. So the question is, are you as a department going to take steps in order to address the issues revealed in your assignment? So these are things that are going to happen in the class itself, and also these are things that maybe the department has talked about. So if you are the only one teaching this class, then yeah, you're deciding that I'm going to change this in the course, and the next time I assess the student learning outcome, it should be better, or I'm going to test whether the change that I've implemented is going to change the results. Also, this is a department-wide question as well. So if you want to talk to your department in regards to maybe going to an online homework system, to the class to have a field trip in the semester, for Any other thing that you think should be happening. Maybe the materials should be switched. Maybe a different textbook should be used. So it's a more holistic question here of what you want to happen. And so for this one, for me, this is I'm going to fractions in my lecture. That's what I have come. So in order to improve this course, I'm going to introduce fractions. A lot more fractions in my lecture. And as the students are doing their practice problems in class, I'm going to have a lot more fractions inside there for them just to get used to it. Alright, then you have two choices here. You can either submit and share. So what's going to happen is just your class and your name is going to be attached to these. You can also click and submit and share anonymously, which means your name is not going to be forwarded on to, and your class is not going to be forwarded on, just the comments only. Here at West Hills College, we normally use this button here, just because if time for program review comes around and we want to see if there was any particular things to highlight in the program review, we want to be able to contact that faculty member to see their opinion on things. So I'm going to click submit and share, and then you get to go to one of few spots here. So let's go to the Results Explorer, because that will give us all the data behind what we just entered. Go to Results Explorer, and I see a few things here. So first of all, this is the class that I just did this for. And as I look over here, my threshold for passing was 70%. So my performance measure, success criteria as we call it, was 70%. As I scroll over the bar, I see that my average was actually 80.85. So I actually did come above 70%. I fulfilled my criteria. Then I can look down here. Look down here to see my breakup. These are my A's, these are my B's, C's. Oh, it's underneath here, D's and F's. So the red ones are the D's and F's, and the green ones going to a darker green are all the pass rates. So just so you can see your reports. And then your reflection template is going to be listed underneath here. So there's kind of two different views here. And you know whether you completed it all together, because then you have one complete SLO. So if you go back up here and you click on Table View right here, click on Table View, it gives you the same exact data just in terms of a table. And you can scroll down here. So my name is right here, the class, and the SLO that was tested, and I can see what I did. And you have a choice of highlighting these stars or not. And the difference here is that if you click on and you make this an orange dot, this will be included in the next program review. So if you really want to highlight the fact that fractions need to be a little bit more integrated part into not just this class, but a lot more classes in the math department, then it should deserve a little highlight, and that will show up as the full-time faculty member is doing their program review. Another thing to show you on the chart, which I forgot, is if you scroll down here, notice the little dashed bar lines, blue, orange. So if you have more than one person in the class, these bar lines may be in a different spot. The dashed lines are actually the average for all the SLOs of all the courses. So if you're not the only one teaching the course, you can see comparison of you and others that have given the same SLO. And so you can kind of compare yourself to others. Alright, the other thing is if you click on the Courses tab and you scroll down, notice now you have a green check mark. The green check mark says that you are done. Another thing I want to show you is what are the SLOs for the class, if you needed to see what the SLOs for the class were. As you log in, you just want to make sure that you are the faculty member, that you are in the math class, and that you are in the semester that you are teaching now. So this is Fall 18. If you click on this tab first, this will tell you all the course level SLOs that are here. So you have Math 15 is what I teach. There are 4 different SLOs. If you scroll down here, this is the Math 61 class, and these are the 5 SLOs that I have. And the Math 63 class. So if you ever want to know what SLOs you have for the class, you can always go here. These would be the current SLOs for the course. Alright, the other resource that you have are the SLO representatives, and I'm going to click on this slide here. And if you need help and you are teaching political science, you can email the person, the SLO rep for that area. Or if you're in the STEM field and you're teaching a science class, you can always refer to this person here. They'll steer you in the right direction, and so on and so forth. So take the name of the email address as well as the phone number so you can contact them, and they will be your support person to help you through this assessment process. And thank you so much.